miracles. You can sit under a tree and pray 7 times a day, thinking that that seed will basically germinate good harvest. It will never, because it's a wrong seed. It will basically yield wrong results. But if it's a right seed, it will yield the right results. So once more, thanks very much for the opportunity, and may you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Your Excellency, we thank you very much for all the wisdom that you've shared with us. I think we've learned a lot. I think everyone can agree that we've learned a lot. We've learned perspectives as well. And more in particular, Your Excellency, we thank you for making time today, taking time out of your schedule to be with us today. We are not in a stadium or in a large hall. We are a few students, but we really appreciate your efforts for being here. I think before we go on to the next point of the program, Your Excellency, you mentioned that if there are any questions or something, I would now like to act as moderator for that. If anyone has any questions or anything that you'd like to put to His Excellency the Ambassador regarding the topic at hand today, now would be this platform to do so. Abubakar, I see your hand is up already. Yes, please, go ahead.
I didn't put my hands up, but,
Please rise.
My name is Abubakar. I'm from Sudan. I just would like to ask a question regarding this atrocity. You see, we saw such atrocities in South Africa, but today South Africa is also famous of Zionism. Xenophobia. Yeah. Why is that? Despite this, great marching, great effort of preserving freedom and human rights, and then why South Africa is turning to a xenophobic country? Thank you.
Excellency, if you'd like to respond to this question.
Thank you for this loaded question. Firstly, let me say, I'm glad you have asked this question because it touches on a very, very important aspect of the role that social media is playing in shaping our thinking, in shaping our perspectives, in shaping our views about the world. And that's why currently you have serious debates between countries accusing each other of believing fake news. Because the media currently has basically been championing the spread of fake news. So it's very easy for people to believe what they read, what they are being fed, and formulate a view and be able to think that that view is the gospel truth. There is no other truth except that. And what does that do? It shuts you from engaging, from broadening your inquisitiveness, broadening your understanding of issues, because you don't want to listen to anybody else. When we grew up, we were also victims of parents who were not open to engage. Our parents would tell us that you mustn't go and buy salt at night because it will bring bad luck in the family. And you ask, but how scientific is that? They will say, you see, we didn't send you to school to come and question us. We are telling you must comply. If you want to question, you must go and buy your own house. Get out of my house and go and do what you want. So that is the type of situation that we grew up under. So once you have read that there is xenophobic attacks in South Africa, you tend to then want to believe that no, South Africa is hostile to foreigners. And then this question comes in. And the question is also linked to what we read about you know, the immigrant issues in Europe and, you know, all over. The refugees, that out of a sudden, you know, out of the blue, people are now given particular labels so that they can be excluded from certain processes. So it's those things that we must basically be and digging deeper to say, why are people given these status or these labels? You know, is it true that South Africa is hostile to foreigners? And what happens with regards to all the millions of Africans who are, you know, finding comfort and joy in South Africa? Are they different Africans, or what is happening? Are they buying their way into the local communities for them to survive? These are some of the questions that we must ask. But also, you must not take for granted that there is also ignorance in the process. There is ignorance. I mean, we are all here. If you were to ask us, you know, how would we be labeled here? It's either we are refugees or we are immigrants, or, you know, they call us experts if, you know, they want us to feel a bit better. You know, we do have a definition that we are being given. But the fact of the matter is that we are human beings in Turkey, period. You know, we are human beings. If you treat the Turkish people, you know, in this particular way, you must also treat us the way you're treating your locals. If you come to South Africa as somebody from Turkey, you mustn't be treated differently. Of course, there are laws. We are not saying that Africa must be regarded as, you know, a free-for-all type of a continent. We've got 55 countries that are sovereign and that are independent. They've got their laws, so you must respect their laws in order for them to respect your laws. You also have laws, so you want those laws to be respected by all and sundry. So the very same expectation is what is also expected of you. So in short, I can say that there are issues that are a challenge in as far as ignorance, where you find that people who climb into the bandwagon to say, hey, Nigerians are the ones that are drug trafficking in South Africa, let's go and hunt for them. People do that. You know, I was in India, Nigerians were targeted, you know, in one neighborhood because they were being regarded as peddling drugs in that community. You know, sometimes one person does something, you know, it basically affects all of us.
Yes.
You know, that's why I always preach to South Africans when they come here to say, forget. You might be coming here thinking that you are coming to learn engineering because your education is funded by your parents because they are wealthy. But when you step out of that OR Tambo to come abroad, you are no longer Malifani or Zuma or whoever. You are a South African. The way you walk, they will say, this is how South Africans walk. The way you chew, they will say, oh, South Africans, they chew like this. The way you basically respect, the people will basically give you that identity, whether you like it or not. So it has got nothing to do with your wealth or your status. It has got everything to do with your citizenship. You are a South African, and people will see a South African in you. So if you do something wrong, people are going to basically give us, you know, the same paint to say all South Africans are like this. If you crook one person, when they go and report to the police station, they are going to say, South Africans have crooked me. So this is the reality of our situation as human beings. But let's work together to fight issues of ignorance. Let's fight. Let's ensure that people are educated about these matters. But I'm saying, again, these things start from our homes. The way we bring up our kids in our homes, the way they get influenced or influence others at school, is how they're basically going to contribute to the broader society's design and character. So if we don't play our part in our homes, let's not expect any miracles.
You're right on schedule. I still have 5 more minutes for if there's any other questions. Someone else that would like to ask a question. Wow, now the hands are coming up, colleagues. All right, I think we'll start with the lady at the back, Rebecca.
Just to make a comment on what Sexy brought up with regards to, as African children, us coming abroad and the role that we play when we receive education and how we have to join the global workforce, to not just encourage ourselves or to uplift ourselves, but to uplift our countries as well. My question being, as much as we do not credit acts like the Bunch Education Act, we do not credit the apartheid government for these relations that we have with other countries, would you not say that in South Africa's case, the Bunch Education Act played a role in the creation for the need for students to go abroad and to study things like engineering and aerospace? It would be the same, for example, I'm from Kenya and I'm also from Cameroon. In my countries, because of things like colonialism, we have a need to go abroad and study things like international relations because those ties were not developed in our countries under our oppressive rule.
Thank you, Rebecca. I think, Your Excellency, I'll take all the questions and then we give you one round. I'll take, let me start from the back, we'll come to you, my brother. Brother Matthew from Harare.
No, I'm from Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Okay, I am from Zimbabwe. My name is Matthew, and I really don't have a question, but I want to express our sincere gratitude to the Ambassador, His Excellency. I want to say I studied in South Africa. I stayed there for almost 5 years, and I want to appreciate the opportunities even that the South African government has created for not only African students, but for international students, especially through the National Research Fund and specific funding that is at each specific university. Only that we might not know before we got there. For example, before I went to South Africa, I didn't know. I was always told that South Africans are lazy, they are not educated. My friend, when I went there, I saw people sleeping in the library, white or black people, studying and reading. And I later realized that the South African government has planted a lot of resources, research resources, to fund even international students coming to South Africa. So I'll say, I want to thank you so much for what South Africa is contributing to the world. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. My name is Ramadan from the Republic of Burundi. First of all, every time I speak about countries, I thank a lot South Africa for their mission of keeping peace in Burundi. They did a lot for us. Until now they continue doing, and we know that as Africans, South Africa is a pride for us. Every time people ask us, what do you have in Africa as development? We say, look at South Africa. Yes. I remember when the World Cup happened in South Africa, some Europeans didn't accept that this is Africa. They say, no, this is not Africa. So my question to the ambassador is that, I was reading yesterday, I saw that the Minister of Culture said about changing the country's name.
Tanzania.
Yes. As Africans, we would like to know what is the policy behind of this changing of name. Okay. Thanks a lot.
All right. I can take one more question for the ambassador due to time constraints. Going once, going twice, so to no one. Your Excellency, the floor is yours once again. There's someone there. Oh, sorry, Your Excellency. Apologies. Yes, Chief.
Thank you. Well, I've been looking at sorry, my name is Sama from Zimbabwe. So I've been looking at the economy of South Africa of late, like during my study. As you know, we have late independence, and South Africa is playing a leading role in the economic integration of Southern Africa. My question is, what model does South Africa propose for African countries, particularly Southern Africa, in regards to the land question? And what is ANC's official position on the land issue? Because we understand that there are different parties claiming to have different policies. So what is the position of ANC, and what do you suggest fellow African countries can do in the land question in South Africa? I think it will be an issue of concern in the next 2 decades. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency.
These late questions,
Long answers.
they're not easy. Why did you bring them this late? Yeah. So you wanted to test the waters first. I'll deal with them nevertheless. The issue of Bantu education.